Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Paul, I'm with the Dicey Review, and today we're going to be learning how to play the 4 to 8 player game Don't Mess with Cthulhu Deluxe from Indie Boards and Cards. Don't Mess with Cthulhu Deluxe comes with all of the components that you see here, including 1 active player marker, 9 character tokens made up of 6 investigators and 3 cultists, 28 insanity tokens, and 40 investigation cards. These cards are made up of 31 feudal investigations, 8 elder signs, and 1 Cthulhu card. The game also comes with 2 optional modules, the Necronomicon module, which includes 3 Necronomicon cards, and the Objects of Power module, which includes 6 Object of Power cards. We'll briefly look at the rules for how to play these 2 modules at the end of this video. Don't Mess with Cthulhu is a social deduction game where players each have a secret identity. Players could be cultists who are trying to turn over the Cthulhu card or make the investigators run out of time. Or players could be investigators who are trying to find elder sign cards. The game is played over 4 rounds, but can end early if the investigators find all of the elder sign cards that they're looking for, or if Cthulhu is ever turned face up. It's important to note that during this game, players are allowed to be deceptive, and in many cases, this is in fact the best way to win. The only thing players aren't allowed to talk about is the art on their secret identity tiles. First, take a number of investigator and cultist tiles depending on the player count and shuffle them together. In our 4-player example, shuffle together 3 investigators and 2 cultists. Then give each player a tile that only they will look at. Place any unused character tiles back in the box. Then randomly select a first player and give them the first player marker. Then form the investigation deck. The investigation deck will have a number of different feudal investigation cards, elder sign cards, and a Cthulhu card, depending on the player count. Shuffle all of these cards together and then deal 5 to each player face down. Then, beginning with the start player, each player looks at their hand of cards and then declares what type of cards they have. It's important to note that depending on what team a player is on, they may want to be truthful or deceptive about what they say. After a player has declared what they have in their hand, they will shuffle them thoroughly so they no longer know the order of the cards, and then place them face down in front of them in a line. After players are done, it should look something like this. After setup, players can begin playing the game. The game will consist of 4 rounds, and each round has a number of actions equal to the player count. So in our 4-player example, 4 actions will be taken each round. In a 6-player game, there would be 6 actions per round, and so forth. On a player's turn, the active player will take the active player marker and select any investigation card of another player. It's encouraged for all players to provide input and communicate to decide where this marker should be placed. It's important to note, however, it's always the active player's decision to choose which card to investigate. The chosen card is revealed and placed in the center of the play area so that everyone can see it. Once a card is revealed, players will make sure to check and see if the game end conditions have been met. We'll talk about what ends the game here in a moment. These cards are feudal investigations. If these cards are revealed, nothing happens. After the chosen card is revealed and placed in the center of the play area, the player whose card was just chosen and revealed becomes the active player. They will then take the active player marker and select the card of another player. Play will continue in this way until the round ends or until the game ends. The round will end after a number of actions equal to the player count has been taken. So for instance, in our example, players have taken 4 actions in a 4-player game, which would cause the round to end. After players have completed enough actions to end a round, all of the remaining investigator cards in front of all players are collected and shuffled. After all the remaining investigation cards have been shuffled together, deal them evenly between all players. As you can see, each player will receive 1 fewer card than the previous round. Then, beginning with the start player once again, players will look at their hands secretly and then declare what cards are there. Once again, they can be truthful or dishonest in this declaration. Play will then resume in the next round, beginning with the active player taking the first action. Rounds will repeat in this way until the game ends or until 4 rounds have been completed. The investigators will immediately win as a team if Elder Sign cards equal to the player count are revealed. It's important to note that the number of Elder Sign cards in play is always equal to the number of players. So in our 4-player example, if 4 Elder Sign cards are revealed, the investigators will immediately win. If Cthulhu is ever revealed, then the cultists will immediately win. The cultists will also win if the investigators are unable to find all the Elder Signs after 4 rounds. Don't Mess with Cthulhu Deluxe also includes 28 sanity tokens. These can be used if players want to play multiple games back to back. To use the sanity tokens after each game, give each losing player 1 sanity token. As soon as any player receives 3 sanity tokens from losing, the player with the fewest amount of sanity tokens is the winner of the multiple games. The game also comes with the Necronomicon module. To incorporate the Necronomicon module during setup, take 2 normal Elder Signs and 1 Necronomicon and combine them. Then shuffle the remaining Necronomicon cards together with all of the Elder Signs. Then from this newly shuffled stack of cards, combine these cards to the investigation deck until you have cards equal to the player count. In this way, you'll have a combination of Elder Signs and Necronomicon cards. Necronomicon cards work in a similar fashion to Elder Signs with one major difference. If a Necronomicon card is revealed and no other Elder Signs have been revealed, then the cultists will immediately win. If, however, a Necronomicon card is revealed after an Elder Sign has been revealed, the investigators are safe and can continue playing. And if the investigators are able to find all of the Elder Sign and Necronomicon cards, they immediately win. The game also includes the Objects of Power module. To incorporate the Objects of Power during setup, simply take 5 of the Objects of Power and use them to replace 5 of the feudal investigations when forming the investigation deck. So for instance, in a 4-player game, the investigation deck would be made up of 10 feudal investigations, 5 Objects of Power, 4 Elder Signs, and the 1 Cthulhu card. When using the Objects of Power, you play the game as you normally would, but when an Object of Power is revealed, the card text on the front of the Object of Power is immediately resolved. Players will complete the action of the card and then resume play as normal. It's important to note that in every case, the action on the card targets the player who had the card in front of them. Alright everyone, thanks so much for watching. That was our video. We hope that it was helpful and we hope that it was informative. If you still have any questions about how to play the game, please comment below or email us directly at thedicey@gmail.com. If you want to hear more from the Dicey Review, you can listen to the Dicey Review podcast. It can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, pretty much any podcast app. You can connect with us on social media at our Board Game Geek Guild, or make sure and read our written reviews over at thediceyreview.com. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.